Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here. Welcome to the new studio. You get a sneak peek today. Not using our fancy cameras or anything like that, but you get the idea. This is the wall of fame where all the greats live. We got the Katana Boy 1000, we got the Wetterhall Axe, got the Cold Steel Boar Spear, we got the Kelly Kettle, Cold Steel Battle Axe, Tomahawk, whatever you want to call it. All cool stuff, and this wall is going to get full, and it's actually a lot bigger than the frame of this camera I'm using will allow. So stay tuned. We got lots of fun stuff coming in. Guys, we got a video coming tomorrow on my favorite, my absolute favorite, the #1 survival food in the world, the best tasting, hands down. I'm so stoked about it. I eat it every day. I've been keeping this a secret for the last 6 months. I love this stuff, and we got a lot of it. We secured a lot of it, but from what I hear from the company, you know, because it's a secret, okay? Not many people know about this stuff right here. And so for that reason, you know, Mountain House has been hit. You know, they're running low. These guys are starting to get hit. And after tomorrow's video, boy, are they gonna get hit. Now, I just got hit at the pumps. My God, I just got sheared. It was the shearing of the sheep this week, not only in the markets, $220. Man, that Cybertruck couldn't get here soon enough. And I was listening to a Bloomberg energy analyst today talk about how he projects that this summer prices are going to get even more insane, because that's when everybody's going to start to travel. And if the Russia-Ukraine conflagration continues to burn, boy, are we going to be screwed. Diesel is gone bananas. You can't find diesel. If you can find it, stockpile it. We just got this stuff in at the store. It's this condensed fuel stabilizer stuff. One bottle can stabilize like hundreds of gallons of fuel. I'm going to show it to you later on. But you know, you got to get something like that, because I think that it's going to be worth storing gasoline if you can. Obviously, do it safely in accordance with your municipal laws, but it is going to be bananas. The average retail cost of a gallon of gas is 3.785 liters, jumped to 4.432 in the United States. In California, the average is 5.87 a gallon. That's the average. Okay, here in Canada, we're pretty much at $2 a gallon. They're getting us mentally used to $2 a gallon. So right now, the government is still offering subsidies for electric cars, or tax deductions for electric cars, I should say. So go and get yourself a Model 3 Tesla while you can. But guess what? You can't get one because there's no chips, and you're waiting months and months on end. It's not looking good, folks. But you know what's good? I'm feeling way better today. You can see my voice is back. I don't have the fever. Still a little bit congested. Still a little bit, you know, going on up here. But that's always going on. So it is what it is. But I'm just, it feels so great to be liberated from illness. And we just must value our health, because that's one of the biggest things. Now, the reason why the markets have kind of leveled off today, and some people say have turned a corner, which I don't think so. I think one of the reasons they've turned a corner, everybody's looking at the Fed and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think that's part to do with it, but I always find that those market indicators, they're never that consistent. And just like military analysts are with this war in Ukraine, you know, market analysts, they're wrong half the time. So I think part of the reason why the markets have maybe bottomed out for a bit is because there was supposedly a phone call between U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin and Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu. They conducted their first phone call since the start of the Moscow operation. Check my time here on my phone. Yes, you know, because we're living in the day and age of you know, where they took the memory cards out, so you got to store everything on the cloud, or you got to rebuy a phone, or, oh God, I hate that. That's why I have the time limit on the phone. Some people have been asking. But I think that, you know, this is just the United States trying to say, hey, look what we did. we gave it a good go, but now we're going to have to load Ukraine with weapons once again. And what Austin was calling for was an immediate ceasefire in Ukraine. Yeah, that's going to go down when you're basically got, $40 billion worth of military supplies on the books getting ready to ship. And then you also have a Lend-Lease deal in the process. So basically what he's asking for is, can you guys just, stop killing us for a second while we get a bunch of weapons in there to kill you back? It's not going to work. The Russians, they're not that stupid. Also, the Finnish Prime Minister was reaching out to, or says that he's going to be reaching out to Vladimir Putin, as well as many other EU officials, in an attempt to diffuse tensions. But we all know what the result of that is going to be. It's not going to be good. This is going to continue to drag on and get monumentally worse. And that's why gas prices this summer are going to be crazy. So you need to stock up on fuel now. Supposedly, the Russians are spending $900 million a day on the war, but I don't know about that. I'm very skeptical of those numbers, and they're saying that the Russian economy may contract by 12% this year. Don't know about that either. I'm very skeptical, because you need to understand that a lot of the investment with war, especially when, I don't know what they're paying their soldiers. I'm sure, they don't have to jump through the same hoops as they do in the States. A lot of the money has been spent, over the years, accumulating stockpiles of ammunition. All that's been bought and paid for a long time ago with their $56 billion a year budget that they've had over the last however many years. So really, the cost comes in sustaining things, and the real cost comes in the rebuilding of Ukraine and getting supplies into the Ukrainian people, like the hundreds of thousands of tons of food that they're going to have to ship there to sustain the population. That's going to cost a lot. We're bouncing around here. Okay, so there's not a whole lot to talk about today. I do want to say, there is a lot to talk about. They're talking about projected record wildfires this year, potentially costing the world $200 billion. The world is strained by pricier food now that weather threatens wheat crops. We got all kinds of things. We got the baby formula shortage. We got, just shortages of everything. But I do want to clarify a statement I made yesterday. I made an off-the-cuff comment, and I kind of disrespected some of my Finnish peeps, and I want to apologize for this. I said that I thought the Russians would steamroll through Finland. And I said that not as if, I want that to happen, especially considering, as one of my favorite YouTubers, Survival Tech Nord, go and check out his channel. He's a comms prepper, very, very knowledgeable guy. He's the guy I consult with if I have any questions about tech, whether it's solar or comms, ham radio, amateur radio, that kind of thing. But I made that statement, and it's not that I don't still think that, but I need to also give credit to the Finnish people that they are prepping like never before. Okay, the Finns are prepping hard. They got bunkers. They got one of the highest per capita military enrollments, highest per capita military reserves. Okay, they're getting ready for the fight. They know what's coming. Okay, and I wish them the best. And I actually don't think that the Russians really care too much to engage Finland in that way. I think if it comes to that, it's going to be total war, and it's going to be nuclear. It's going to be the use of precision-guided munitions. It's not going to be like the Winter War in World War II, where it was, all these generals who were scared as hell of Stalin, trying to get these artillery close enough to the Finns to take them out. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be Russia using its superior air force, its superior air defense, its superior long-range missiles, cruise missiles, hypersonic missile systems. And that's what it's going to be, okay? That's not to say that they're not going to have a gun behind every blade of grass, just like Switzerland. And the topography, the terrain is very challenging, but this is modern warfare, guys, okay? And the difference between Ukraine and Finland is that Ukraine, the Russians are waging a different kind of war there. People need to understand that. It's not about complete, total destruction of Ukraine. If that was the case, Kiev would have been gone long time ago. Some people still cling to this delusion that, no, they just can't do it. Yeah, they can do it. They can absolutely do it. They could do it tomorrow if they wanted to. If they called for a general full-scale mobilization war against Ukraine tomorrow, that city would be wiped off the map. End of story, okay? Just like Mariupol. But they're choosing not to do that because they have financial investments and financial liabilities with the critical infrastructure tied into that, with the natural gas pipelines that flow through there. You can't say that about other countries where they probably wouldn't hesitate to just, unleash the dogs of war. And you got to hand it to the Ukrainians. I mean, a 600,000 strong fighting force that was hardened over 8 years, that understand the Soviet method of fighting intimately. These are something that a lot of other countries don't have. So that is what my assessment was based on, but I still don't think that it's going to come with that with Finland, although if they join NATO, there will be some response. Will that just be Russia positioning nukes a lot closer along the border? Is there going to be an altercation in the Baltic Sea? I don't really know too much about all of the topography on there. Maybe I'll get Survival Technord on here and we can talk about it, all right? As I was saying, the price of food is going to go bananas this summer. Speaking of bananas, I'm not sure why speaking of bananas, but the baby formula thing. Of all the other things that could go wrong, and this is just another instance of one little kink in the supply chain, one little blown fuse in the car that just brings down the whole system, one wire that isn't properly wired in the very complicated global patchwork of things. That's what happens when it leads to these bottlenecks and these shortages. The whole baby formula thing is based on a few different factors. One of the factors is that there was a recall because there was some sort of bacterial outbreak and in a Michigan plant, and that caused the FDA to recall a bunch of brands of baby formula. Now that in itself is concerning, right? Because we're living in the age of antibiotic resistance, and of course, this is just one more of those like bird flu type, pestilence type events, which is compromising our food supply. Now, a lot of people are throwing around the argument that, you should just breastfeed, there's something to be said for how these supply chain disruptions are forcing us back to a more natural way of doing things. They're forcing us back to the wall of fame, right? Another explanation, of course, is the COVID bottleneck, because in 2020, early 2020, not only were people stockpiling toilet paper, they were also stockpiling baby formula. And as a result, baby formula sales dipped in late 2020, early 2021, so the plants kind of slowed down, they laid off some people, and then of course, a resurgence of demand ensued, and that added on top of the recall and some other regulatory and trade issues between countries is what's causing the lack of baby formula on the shelves, among other things. So we got chicken shortage, we got baby formula shortage, we got diesel shortage. What else shortage? Oh yes, in Britain, in the UK, they have a chlorine shortage. This is another prepper-related thing. A shortage of pool shock, okay? Some UK's public swimming pools forced to close over national chlorine shortage. A shortage of chlorine is forcing some public swimming pools to close, with operators blaming factors ranging from production fall in China to Brexit and the war in Ukraine. Apparently, a certain type of chlorine is obtained from manufacturers in Ukraine, and they can no longer get that. So this is it's just another one of those omens, another one of the things that preppers usually stockpile, because if you don't know, pool shock is a great way to purify water. And you can pretty much kill most things with the exception of protozoa, I do believe, and make your water drinkable with just, you can go buy a bucket of this stuff at the at your local, what would you get? Where would you get? At Walmart, any hardware store. And, it costs you maybe 20, 30 bucks. And a little tub of that stuff can purify thousands of gallons of water. So, because you basically make bleach with it. But there's just shortages abound. North Korea is going to be doing some nuclear tests, but apparently that might be disrupted by the fact that there is a nasty COVID outbreak there. They just had a military parade and a bunch of different celebrations, and they've been basically COVID-proof since this whole thing began, and now there is a massive outbreak, something like 350,000 people. So this is their first time being exposed to it, so it is going to be bad. There's going to be hospital overwhelm, just like they're seeing in China right now. China is just going crazy. I don't know if you guys have been watching some of the videos. The shorts have been coming out on Instagram with the people rioting, resisting, starving, and the guys in the white suits and the whole 9 yards. Man, that's something that you would make a movie out of it, and that would be a very entertaining movie to watch if it wasn't real life. We're also seeing insanely high temperatures in the U.S. We're going to be getting record high temperatures in many places in the United States and possibly in places in Canada this next week from May 13th to May 19th. That is going to fuel the fire, literally, for firefighters. Record temperatures expected in the fire-ravaged southwestern states will continue to worsen the deepening drought as well as make for tough firefighting conditions as an intense heat wave will be felt across most of the southern tier of the U.S. this weekend. This is also going to lead to or exacerbate food shortages because the more drought, the less food. And we're already seeing shortages of fertilizer, pesticide, insecticide, all those things combined create the perfect storm, which is why you cannot go wrong with investing in food now because it's likely going to be worth a lot more tomorrow. And we keep saying it because it's the damn truth, all right? It's one of the best ways to retain your money at this point in time, or survival gear. To be brutally honest, steel, cold hard steel, is going to preserve its value and stand the test of time. So there are supposedly record forest fires sweeping the planet. Record blazes have raged out of control in both the northern and southern hemispheres, sweeping across Argentina, Paraguay, Venezuela, and Colombia. The U.S. West, stuck in a mega drought that's left the land parched, has been hit particularly hard. Just last week, a fast-moving wildfire ripped through a town in California's Orange County, spurring nearly 1,000 evacuations and destroying homes in the wealthy enclave. It's expected that they're going to see $200 billion worth of fire damage this year. $200 billion. So on top of all of the financial hardship, we're going to have to contend with nature. Now, interesting story. Snake Island. I didn't realize why this was such a important strategic point to be taken. Ukrainian military analyst Ole Zdanov tells the BBC that if Russian forces dominate Fidenisi, which is the actual name of Snake Island, they will be able to deploy long-range anti-aircraft systems there, which will give them a significant advantage for dominance in both the Black Sea and the whole of Ukraine. This is why it's so significant, and this is why Ukraine has endured some major losses trying to retake Snake Island. I can't remember what the saying is, but an island is very sought after by militaries when you're in theater of war because they're an unsinkable ship. They're an unsinkable aircraft carrier, if you will. And so long as the Russians have that, they're going to be able to deploy their S-400 missile systems, and this could be a determining factor in the fate of the war, especially for Odessa. Anyways, guys, my time is running out. My kid's got to go to a parkour class. I got him in parkour. Climbing. We got him in karate. He's in all kinds of stuff like that because you know what? You got to get it while the getting's good. Get the training while the training is there, okay? I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. We're back to our regular scheduled programming. Guys, we've been working on so much stuff behind the scenes. I know a lot of you are missing those blue strip videos. I am too. We're getting back to 100% health. Thanks for all your well wishes. I very much appreciate it. And guys, get yourself some of that peak refuel at CanadianPreparedness.com, because when I drop this video tomorrow, I guarantee you it's going to be all gone in a week. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and use coupon code SurvivalPrepper for 10% off. Can I reach this thing? Oh, this is embarrassing. See you later.